from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for this energizing yoga flow. So we're going to be moving dynamically into some creative sequences in this practice. So I would recommend that this class is suitable for someone who already has an existing yoga practice. But as always, we will be listening to our body, listening to what your body needs today, and just taking the options that feel right for you and leaving anything that doesn't feel right. Be stretching, strengthening, balancing, and creating this energy within the body, connecting to that sense of awareness of feeling our body, feeling what's going on for us today, and feeling that kind of energy from within. So coming into a comfortable seated position to get started, and I want you to place the hands on the knees or the thighs with the palms facing upwards. From here, start to close down your eyes or take the gaze out in front. And begin to come aware of your breath. Notice any parts of the body that are moving as you breathe. And as we come into the practice, perhaps seeing how your energy feels today, right now, coming into this practice. There's no right or wrong thing to observe. And seeing if in this practice today you can try to step away from labeling anything. So you don't have to label anything as good or bad or right or wrong. And starting to take a fingertip breathing technique. On your next inhale, I want you to bring your index finger to meet the thumb. And as you exhale, slowly release. Inhale, bring the second finger to meet the thumb. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring the third finger to meet the thumb. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring the fourth finger, the little finger, to meet the thumb. Exhale, release. And we go again. Inhale, bring the first finger to meet the thumb. Exhale, release. Inhale, the second finger. Exhale, release. Inhale, the third finger. Exhale, release. Inhale, the fourth finger. Exhale, release. Now do that one more time, going with your own breath at your own pace. So start to bring each finger to meet the thumb on the inhale and release it on your exhale. It's a really good way to bring our awareness to the breath, to find a little bit of focus, concentration. And now I want you to just relax the hands, but keep the palms facing up, and notice any sensations, noticing anything you can feel in the hands or the fingers. It's okay if you don't feel anything. Keep placing your awareness in this area. Either way, no judgment. And from here, start to flutter the eyes open if you had them closed. And then we're going to step the soles of the feet down to meet the ground. Just bring the feet so they're a little bit further than hip width apart. And we'll start with the hands coming down to the ground behind to support. And I want you to start to swish the knees from side to side. So just window wiping the legs, really gently moving a little bit into the hip joint. Notice how those hips are feeling today. See if you can keep a little bit of awareness on your breath. And then releasing the hands, option to bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position. And we're going to take that same movement, giving yourself a little bit of space. You know what, if you practiced with me before, you know with these flows, sometimes we're coming on and off our mat. So seeing what you can do in the space that you've got. So we're going to start to bring the knees from side to side, but maybe seeing if you can come a little bit further over, so finding a bit of a twist. So notice how your body moves with the legs. So trying to move the legs first, and then see how the body naturally follows without using the hands. So just noticing how everything's connected. So moving from side to side, you might find that you're shifting forwards a little bit. I definitely am, nearly completely off my mat now. And then this time we're going to pause over to the right. So legs have swished over to the right. As you can see, my legs in a roughly 90-degree angle, but that's just a guide. And then we're going to bring the hands both coming down to the ground on the outside of that right thigh. So we're in this juicy twist. Seeing if you can bring maybe that right forearm down. Maybe the left forearm comes down as well. Maybe you can drop your head. Again, feel into what feels good for you. No need to force anything here. Let your breath fill up the back of the body. Nice. Start to lift the chest. Bring the hands back to heart center. Make your way over to the other side. Same again here. Find that twist. So we're twisting to the left. Hands come down to the mat. Either working here, or maybe you start to come down onto the forearms, dropping the head, breathing into the back of the body. Notice how this feels into the hip space as well. And slowly lifting the chest, make your way back up to center. You might want to shuffle around on your mat. And we're going to lift the feet away from the mat. Bring the arms to the side of the legs. Find Navasana boat pose. Breathing here. From here, I want you to see if you can slowly lower down into a lying position. No worries if it wasn't that slow. And then reach your hands and your feet up towards the ceiling. We're going to take some circles. So circling the feet and the hands. Just moving into the ankles and the wrists. Noticing any little clicks or pops. So thinking about getting that energy moving, circulating. Really feeling into all the different bits of the body, no matter how small. Noticing whatever you notice. Well done. Start to see if you can take a little bit of momentum, couple of rocks, rock yourself up to seated, and then see if you can come through to tabletop position. Maybe making your way back to your mat if you found yourself coming all the way off of it. Ground into your left hand. Inhale, reach your right fingertips up to the ceiling. Follow with your gaze. And then seeing if you can float the right fingertips towards the back of the room. Again, doesn't have to look exactly as mine looks, just coming in that direction. Reach the right fingertips back up to the ceiling and float them back down. Same on this side. So inhale, reach the left fingertips up. Follow with the gaze. See if you can bring those left fingertips to reach out behind or in that direction. And gently circle the left arm back down to the mat. So once more on each side. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over. See how that feels. And bring it back. And then other side. Inhale, reach the left arm up and over. And bring it back down to the mat. Well done. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, hips come to the sky. Downward facing dog. Take any movement that feels good here. Maybe a little pedal out through the legs. Could be a bit of a shift of the hips. Try and relax the head. Maybe taking a couple of nods or shakes here. Reconnecting with your breath. On your next inhale, you're going to shift the shoulders forwards, ground into your right hand. Lift the left hand, come into this Vashisthasana side plank position. And then exhale, bend through the legs, float the left arm down. Inhale, stretch back up to your side plank. Bring your left hand back down to the mat. Take it onto the other side, left side Vashisthasana. Bend into the legs, float that right arm down, and lengthen, come back to center, well done. Exhale, hips lift to the sky, downward facing dog. Breathing here, remember you can take a resting pose at any time, this is your practice, be where you need to be. Inhale, sweep the right leg up to the ceiling, 3-leg dog. Open into those hips if that feels good too. Float the right foot through between the hands, drop the back knee. So we're in this low lunge position, keep the hands on the mat or on some blocks. Start to shift backwards and forwards, so coming between a half split and your low lunge. So moving with your breath. Seeing how these movements feel. Shifting backwards and forwards. And then as you shift back into your Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split position, again, hands could still be on blocks here. Flex the right foot. Inhale, open across the chest. As you exhale, let the head drop, fold forward. So we're going to undulate with the breath. So inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, letting it drop down. Inhale, thinking about the heart lifting first, then the head. And then exhale, heart dropping first, then the head. So you get this kind of wave within the body here. Again, these could be small little waves, or they could be huge ones, depending on what feels good for you in your spine, in your body. Last one. And then shift the weight forwards back into that right leg. Tuck the toes under, power up through the back leg. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the ceiling. Find your lunge, your high lunge. So you might like to step the back foot in a little bit here, and we're going to intentionally bend into that back left leg. Reach your right fingertips down by the side of the body. Inhale, lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, take a little stretch over to the right. And then floating this left arm, we're going to inhale, float the left arm out to the left side. Exhale, float it up and over, stretching to the right. 2 more. Inhale, floating the left arm down. And reaching over to the right side. Last one. Inhale. And exhale, taking that stretch. And then from here, opening out, finding your warrior 2. So bending into that right leg. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up to the ceiling, reverse warrior. Option to thread that left arm around the back of the body, maybe the left hand finds the right thigh. That's not going to work for everyone, so just see what feels right for you. And float it back to warrior 2. From here, we're going to windmill the arms around, lift your back heel, place the left hand down on the mat, right hand reaches up. We're in an easy twist. Follow with the gaze. Nice. Start to pivot onto the outside edges of the feet. Find your revolve Skandasana. Breathing here. And float that right arm all the way back up and around. Ground into the hands. Step it back to plank and flow through a vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Breathing here. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg up to the sky. Find that three-legged dog on the left side. Inhale, sweep the left foot through between the hands. Drop the back knee, find your low lunge. Start to shift the weight backwards and forwards between low lunge and your Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split position. Coming backwards and forwards, feeling into that hip space. Noticing where your skin, where your body is touching and meeting the ground here. So connecting to our senses as well is a great way to build awareness in the body. Noticing our sense of touch, our skin, the ground beneath us. And then when you're next in your half split position, I want you to try and pause here. Again, hands could be on blocks or the mat. And start to undulate with the breath. So as you inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, letting the heart and the head drop. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, folding. Again, this doesn't have to look a certain way. Just find those little ripples, those waves within the body. Well done, last one. And then shift the weight back into that left leg. Power up the right leg, tucking the toes under, reach the fingertips up, find your high lunge. Bend into your back leg. We're going to let the left arm drop down by the left side of the body, and we're going to float this right arm now. So float that right arm out to the side, then float it up and over, finding a stretch over to the left. So floating that right arm down, floating it back up and over into this stretch over to the left. Keeping that back leg bent. One more stretching over and releasing. And then opening out, finding your warrior two position. Breathing here, tuck the tailbone in. Reach the left fingertips up to the ceiling, find your reverse warrior. Option to wrap the right arm around the back of the body if that feels good too. Float back to your warrior two. And then we're going to take that big windmill with the arms, lift your back heel, place the right hand down on your mat, left fingertips reach up, easy twist, nice. From here, rotate onto the knife edges of the feet, find your evolved Skandasana. Left fingertips reaching towards that wall ahead. Breathing. Well done. And pivoting back, bringing that left hand down to the mat, step it back to plank. And flow through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale back to your downward facing dog. Well done. Taking a moment to pause here. And we're going to go through that sequence again, but just offering a few more options to add on and embellish the sequence if you want to take them. So stay connected to what's going to serve you in this practice today. There's no option that's better than another. It's really just a case of what's going to work for you, what's going to serve you. So on your next inhale, sweeping that right leg back to your three-leg dog. Float the right foot through between the hands, finding your low lunge. Start to shift the weight backwards and forwards. So moving a little bit more fluidly. We know the sequence now, we've put it in our body. that first time, so we've got an idea of where it's going. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to feel the same this time round. Pausing now in your half split. Couple of undulations here, so inhale, lifting the heart, exhale, folding. Inhale, lifting, exhale, folding. And shift the weight back into the right leg, power up the left leg. Reach the fingertips up to the ceiling, find your high lunge. Either work here or you're going to add in Vibrasana 3, so taking a warrior 3 on the right side. So reaching back with that left leg, flexing into the left foot. Imagine the left foot's pressing into something behind. Breathing here. Well done. Take a big step back, find your high lunge. Float the right arm down to the right side. Start to float this left arm. So float the left arm over to the left. And then flow over to the right. So we're taking a stretch to the right. And I want you to intentionally bend into that back leg here. Feeling, you might even feel this stretch into that left hip flexor. Inhale, reach the left arm to the left. Exhale, take it over to the right. Last one, floating that left arm. See how gracefully you can move that left arm. And then take a big opening out, bring the back heel down, find warrior 2, right side. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up, find your reverse warrior. Take any options you want to take here with that left arm. Float back to your warrior 2. Window wipe the arms around, so lift your back heel, bring the left hand down to the mat. Find your easy twist, nice. Pivot onto the knife edges of the feet. Find your Evolve Skandasana. We're going to float our Evolve Skandasana this time. So inhale, reach the right arm up, lift the hips. Exhale, float back down. Imagine that right arm's floating in water. Inhale, reach the right arm up, lift the hips. Exhale, float back down. Last flow, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, float back down. And then this time on the inhale, we're reaching the hand up, lifting the hips. Really goes around to the right, lift the hips and the heart, find a wild thing. Breathing here, legs and glutes switching on. Well done. And unraveling, coming back to your plank position. Exhale, hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Either stay with the downward facing dog here, or option if it's in your practice to take a couple of kicks up to handstand. You could always take a child's pose as well here. Just having a little bit of play time if that feels good for you. No worries if it doesn't. Well done. Coming back, everybody meeting in their downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards back to plank. Take a vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up. Find your 3-leg dog. Float the left foot through between the hands, drop the back knee. Start to shift the hips backwards and forwards. So from this half split position, back into your lunge. Pausing when you're ready. In your half split, taking a couple of undulations here. So inhale, lift the heart, lift the head. Exhale, dropping. So moving the body like a wave, moving the spine. Hands could be on blocks here to give you a little bit more space. Well done. Shift the weight back into that front foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back leg. Inhale, reach the fingertips up, find your high lunge. Ground into your left foot, lift the back leg, find Virabhasana 3. Breathing here, strong inner line of energy. Keep that back leg active, pressing into that wall behind. Staying with your breath. Take a big step back to your lunge. Well done. Bend into that back leg. Now we're going to drop the left arm down to the left side. Float that right arm up and over. Find that stretch over to the left. And then float the right arm back down. Again, imagine that arm moving through water. Reaching up and over to the left. Exhale, floating back down. Last one. Inhale, reaching up and over. Exhale, floating back down. And then opening out, finding your warrior 2. Softening into the shoulders. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up, find your reverse warrior. Breathing here. Opening into the side body. Float back to your warrior 2. And then start to windmill the arms all the way around. Bring the right hand down to the mat, lift the back heel, find your easy twist. Pivot around, find revolve Skandasana. So pivot onto the knife edges of the feet. We're going to float our revolve Skandasana now. So inhale, reach the left fingertips up, lift the hips. Exhale, float back down. Again, make this arm as graceful as you can. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, float back down. Last one, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, floating back down. And then this time we inhale, reach the arm up, lift the hips, ground into your left hand. See if you can come through Vashisthasana. Place the left toes down to the mat. Reach the hips and the heart to the ceiling. Find a wild thing. Breathing here. Well done. And unraveling, coming back to a plank position or straight back to your downward facing dog. I'm going to meet in a downward facing dog now. Option to stay here, option to take a child's pose, or you can take your kicks up to handstand or any inversion, upside down playtime that you'd like to take. Staying with your breath wherever you are in your practice. And we'll all meet back in a downward facing dog. Well done. Take a moment here, reconnect with your breath. Hopefully really feeling that heat, that energy in the body. Like everything's switching on, everything's alive. And we're going to drop the knees down to the mat from here. And start to sit your hips down towards your heels, melt the forehead down to the mat for child's pose. Close your eyes or take a steady gaze. And come back to your breath. Maybe you can trace your breath into the back of the body or the sides. Notice how that feels. Start to allow your body to become completely heavy on the ground, fully supported and held. And being curious now about how your energy
now feels. Does it feel any different from the beginning of the practice? And if so, how does it feel different? In what way does it feel different? Just to be curious. There's no right or wrong answer. You cannot get this wrong. Slowly we're going to start to come away from the child's pose, just walking the hands back in, finding a kneeling position on your mat. Hands with the palms facing down now on the thighs as a gesture of grounding. To close off the practice, we'll bring the hands together and just rub the palms of the hands together, create a little bit of friction, a little bit of energy, maybe you can feel a bit of heat. Rubbing the hands together. And then place the hands over the eyes. And as you start to release the hands, just slowly opening the eyes back up. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for that practice. I hope that it has left you feeling stretched, strengthened, balanced, energized. Do comment and feedback to me on how you've got on. I really appreciate you being here and doing these flows with me. And yes, link below to other things that I offer. Do subscribe to this channel, it's completely free, and I can't wait to flow with you again.